So I went to the bank today to get a form notarized. So I needed to get a form notarized, and the bank teller, she's done this twice now. She put it as a driver's license instead of an ID card. I told her, this is an ID card. This is not a driver's license. She said, oh, it doesn't matter if it's not a driver's license or not because it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. And I'm paying the price for it. I told her it's an ID card. She put it as a driver's license. And they told me at the college, that I'm going to have to get it redone because it's the ID they have on file for me is an ID card because I don't have a license. I'm trying to get my license, but I don't have it right now. So, point being, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to redo it. Tomorrow, I will redo it. I'll see if my work will let me print out the form there. And maybe, maybe I won't have to do as much work. I could just simply go to the city hall instead of the bank, by the way, because I don't want that to happen again. And maybe the city hall will do it right. Anyway, not to say that I don't like my bank. I like my bank, but it happens twice. Maybe I should have just gone to the bank next door because I have a bank account with them too. Jesus Christ, man. Maybe I should have done that, That would have been freaking... That probably would have been a little bit better of an experience, but... let me think. Should I do it? I don't know. Should I? I don't know. I gotta pay rent tomorrow. Rent is the most important thing. Tomorrow's the last day to pay rent before I get charged a late fee. So I have to do it tomorrow when I wake up. Anywho. Either that or my rent is just gonna... Or if I don't get my check tomorrow until Thursday, I'm gonna have to pay the late fee anyway. That would be ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. Anywho, let's talk a little bit about so it's due by 4 p.m. States I would want to live in. I live in Maine. I've lived in Maine most of my life, aside from the couple of months I spent in Wisconsin. That was a mistake. Never will go to Wisconsin again. It's not a state that I particularly like. I know it's somewhat democratic, but at least nowadays it's somewhat democratic. But I don't really care for Wisconsin, I will say the cool thing is it's close to the Canadian border, just like Maine is, Maine's pretty close to the Canadian border. But no, it's not a state that I think would be enjoyable to live in. I don't care, Listen, I am happy with waiting till I make enough money to, go to... I want to go to California, and one of the reasons why is not... I know how expensive it is over there and how expensive it is here, but I feel like in California you have a lot more opportunities, right? I feel like you have a lot more opportunities in California than you do here. And there's no reason for the rent here to be fucking expensive. Because there's nothing here. There's no, film degree program. Sure, there's a media studies program over at USM, but it's actually a pretty shitty program because it doesn't have a lot of ways to complete the degree, and it's underfunded. It's an underfunded degree program. It's ridiculous. That's why I switched to liberal studies at UMA. And, that program is a little easier. And it has film courses you can take to count towards the degree program. Anyway, point being. So, as far as that goes, I'm sorry, but California is way better. I would rather live in California. Sure, again, it's expensive, but I think when it comes down to it, you have more opportunities. You have more things you could possibly do, um, and a lot more opportunities. There just are. Second area that would be interesting to live in, I think, is San Francisco. Does anybody remember San Francisco? San Francisco Bay Area. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice over there. Cool, a little bit cooler weather than LA area. I'm just going by what somebody told me. What somebody told me. And there's not as many gangs. Although some people say to avoid Chinatown. But then again, you know. But the thing about San Francisco is it's more expensive. Unless you're in Oakland. Oakland's pretty cheap. And I say that, and I've looked at apartment prices in both. And, I think Oakland is pretty cheap. Although from what some people have said they live in LA and they prefer LA over San Francisco Bay Area. Figure that out. Another state I would want to live in, North Carolina. I love North Carolina, man. Cheap, affordable cost of living. But if I were to live in North Carolina, I would never live in an apartment in North Carolina. The apartments are just awful compared to California apartments. To be honest with you, this apartment that I'm living in, and I've lived in for 5 years, is terrible compared to a California apartment. And I just had an inspection today, and inspector came in and she was like, "Wow, this is a nice place. Wow, this is a great looking place." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not. I would kill to live in a California apartment. But if I were to get a home, like a house, either a mobile home or like an actual house, I would want to get it in North Carolina. It's cheap, it's affordable, a lot cheaper than here. Specifically, I'm thinking like Jacksonville, North Carolina. I know there's the Jacksonville, Florida too. Trust me, I know. I know the Jacksonville, Florida. No, it's Jacksonville, North Carolina. I actually like the idea of Jacksonville, North Carolina because it looks a lot more like a suburb. Ugh. Yeah, I'm kind of tired if you can't tell. It just is the way it is. But I would want to get a freaking house in North Carolina because the houses are pretty gorgeous. Now, the apartments in North Carolina and Maine are fucking shit. But anyway, so I'm gonna go to bed pretty soon. I mean, look at this bed. Look at this bed. This isn't even a bed. This is a couch. I sleep on my fucking couch. I want to get a futon, to replace this thing eventually. Because I like the idea of this being able to turn into a bed. I think it's a lot better. I want to do it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. Anyway, this is Kendo.